afternoon, viewers. Welcome on this midday edition of the English Newscast. We are broadcasting to you live from the economic capital, Douala. We begin with the headlines. Fodsem Binglo III of Seoul has termed the separatist fight for independence as unattainable after casting his vote for the regional elections. Elekam officials have expressed satisfaction with the casting of ballots for the first ever regional election in the country's history. 6 December 2020, a new page opened on the political history of Cameroon. The 10 regions of the country have their representative at the regional council. Calm and serenity prevailed on election day, says Minat. Liberians have commenced vote today in a referendum on shortening presidential terms, a change some members of the opposition fear President George Weah will exploit to extend his stay in office. This is what we will be developing in this edition. Stay tuned for the news in full. Good afternoon once more and welcome back. His Royal Highness Fodsem Binglo III of Seoul has termed the separatist fight for independence as unattainable as their dream for a breakaway state will never come to pass. The traditional ruler of the grass field was talking after casting his vote during the first ever regional elections in Cameroon. Fon Binglo stated that we only want peace that the regional election will bring to us and our people, though there are bound to be challenges for me and other voters to the House of Chiefs from the division. It will facilitate working with officials. I would like again to tell them that they have been struggling a lot, but it cannot be possible to tamper with your government. You are not fit to win your government, he noted. The number of coronavirus cases in Cameroon have begun increasing at a relatively disturbing rate, which appeals to the consciences of Cameroonians with regard to the respect of barrier measures. According to new statistics published Friday, December 4, by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manaoda Malashi, the country recorded 371 new cases from December 1 to December 4, 2020, bringing the total number of infected persons to 24,560. Besides that, 4 new deaths were recorded in 3 days, making a total of 441 deaths. Despite these somehow preoccupying figures, the country can rejoice over the recovery rate, which stands at over 95%. In the last 72 hours, 405 infected persons were declared completely healed, making an overall total of 23,344 recoveries. Cameroonians have once again been exhorted to respect anti-COVID-19 barrier measures prescribed by the World Health Organization and the government, including the obligatory wearing of a face mask in all public places. The recent laxity recorded in the observance of the measures is said to be at the origin of the resurgence of the pandemic, which before then was more or less controlled. Many fear a second wave may hit the country, as it is in the case in some Western nations, including France. 6 December 2020, a new page opened on the political history of Cameroon. The 10 regions of the country have their representative at the regional council. Calm and serenity prevailed on the election day. This report tells us more about the elections. 10,236 municipal councillors and over 14,000 traditional chiefs, members of the 2 regional colleges, were called upon to elect the first 900 regional councillors in the political history of Cameroon. Taking into account the particular health context marked by the COVID-19 pandemic, Cameroonian election had planned in each polling station a device allowing to respect the barrier measures in accordance with the health protocol developed by the Cameroonian government. At the entrance of each office, a health team was responsible for orienting the voters. From the time of the opening of the offices to their closure, the administrative authorities are on time for the conduct of electoral operations. At the end of the election, Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atanganji held a press briefing in which he assured that the election of regional councillors took place in peace, serenity, calm and tranquility. He insisted that no incident likely to undermine the credibility of the elections or the sincerity of the results had been observed. How the Minister of Territorial Administration in drawing up this assessment can affirm that the election took place without incident, while Encho Elias Ambi, Municipal Councillor of the municipality of Widikum in the northwest region of Cameroon, was shot by separatists last Sunday when he returned from Bangui, where he had fulfilled his civil duty. The death of His Majesty Bernard Bamanga, chief of Village 3 located at 150 kilometers from Garua, cannot also be considered as an incident when we know that it happened when he left the polling station after having completed his civic duty. This election, which was held last Sunday, therefore, appears as a historic opportunity for Cameroon in that it has brought the administration closer to the administrators and has guaranteed each region a development of proximity. The provisional results of this election of regional advisors, which were proclaimed last night by the Regional Supervisory Commission, show a clear regression of the Cameroonian Party for National Reconciliation in the Nyong and Kele. Of the 31 PCRN advisors, 20 voted UPC and 4 voted for the PURS, while 7 joined the CPDM political party. These provisional results in the Nyong and Kele demonstrate the population's unease with this political formation. Faced with this state of affairs, the president of this party indicated that he was a victim of a ballot stuffing. It should be remembered that the final results, which will be announced in the days to come, will confer the establishment of organs. This will enshrine a special status for the Northwest and Southwest region, one of the strong recommendations of the Greater National Dialogue convened by the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, and chaired by the head of government, Chief Dr. Joseph Diangute. Regional advisors on December 6 mark an important turning point in Cameroon's political history. Liberians are voting today in a referendum on shortening presidential terms, a change some members of the opposition fear President George Weah will exploit to extend his stay in power. Ballot papers will also ask voters to choose between lifting a ban on holding dual nationality or not. President Weah is seeking to cut the length of terms for presidents and lower house of lawmakers from 6 to 5 years and from 9 to 7 for senators. According to the 54-year-old president, he strongly believes keeping someone in power for long is not the way to go. Reducing term limits is a relative novelty for the region, where aging presidents have followed a pattern of clinging to office using constitutional changes. Even though critics and opposition like Senator Darius Dillon fear that the president is pursuing the same goal, President Weah will seek a third term simply because the first 6 years would then be under a new constitutional arrangement. Weah's office has, however, refuted the allegations of him scheming to prolong his stay in power through the referendum. And on to the Democratic Republic of Congo, President Felix Tshisekedi said on Sunday that he is planning to form a new coalition government and one he might be forced to dissolve parliament and hold fresh election if he was unable to do so. The announcement came after the failure of a coalition with supporters of predecessor Joseph Kabila, who currently wields a majority in parliament. Tshisekedi took over from Kabila in January 2019 in the country's first peaceful transition since independence from Belgium in 1960. After spending a month of consultation with the political parties and prominent figures, and that an overwhelming majority rejected the coalition that included the Common Front for Congo, that's the FCC, and its own Cap for Change party. In the run-up to Sunday's announcement, Tshisekedi conferred at length with senior members of the armed forces to police to ensure that he had their support. There are also fears that the current dispute could spark off another dangerous political struggle in an already war-torn country. And vote counting is currently underway in Ghana after yesterday's presidential and parliamentary elections. According to initial results, President Akufo-Addo is ahead of his rival and former President John Mahama. Sandrine Dumbe tells us more about this incident.
Ghanaians cast their votes earlier today in a presidential election viewed as a close fight between President Nana Akufo-Addo and his longtime rival John Mahama, who signed a peace pact on Friday in the spirit of ensuring Ghana's traditionally violence-free power transfer, already experienced on 7 occasions since the country returned to democracy nearly 30 years ago. Akufo-Addo of the New Patriotic Party and Mahama of the National Democratic Congress Party have already gone head-to-head in prior elections, and the two major parties have always accepted electoral outcomes, pursuing any grievances through the courts. The elections in Ghana, 8 elections since the return to multi-party democracy in 1992. Polls opened at 7 a.m. local time and closed at 5 p.m. with more than 17 million eligible voters. Even though COVID-19 protocols have so far been strictly respected, with voters not wearing face masks, being denied the opportunity to vote, voters were advised to return home immediately after casting their votes. Since 1992, Ghana has had 5 presidents with 3 handovers of power, and the country is considered as one of the most democratic countries in West Africa. Ghana has made giant strides over the past 2 decades and is the world's second largest cocoa producer. However, there is still room for improvement as many Ghanaians still live in extreme poverty with scarce access to clean water and electricity. The COVID-19 pandemic has also hit the Ghanaian economy hard, as growth in the nation of 30 million people is expected to fall this year to 0.9%. Its lowest in 3 decades, according to the International Monetary Fund. Deafening vuvuzelas and party songs took over Ghana's capital Accra on Saturday, the final day of campaigning ahead of presidential and parliamentary elections. 12 candidates, including 3 women, are vying for West African nation's top job. But Monday's vote is essentially a fight between President Nana Akufo-Addo, 76, and former head of state John Mahama. This is the 3rd time that Akufo-Addo and Mahama are running against each other, and the race is expected to be very close. Results could be announced within 24 hours after the poll.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your keen attention. This is the package we gathered for this edition of the Midday News. 7 p.m. Sandrine Dumbe will bring you the details of these stories and more. Have a good day.